In talent management practices, I would like to narrate this particular quote, that is a great talent management like rising kids. It's all about how you should spend your time. Now here what we have observed is that is the 85% of the global companies, right? And they are admit their the talent management program and the policies are the need and overall is there. So current practices as if we see the production era, then we will see the service era, and in service era now when we are seeing the time of the AI. So the talent is also keep on changing. The requirement, the definitions and the types of talent, the practices, the knowledge, the skills, that everything has changed. But talent management practices more or less that are remaining the same. So here it is very much necessary with the change of the time. The talent is also changing, the attitude is changing, the work culture is changing, the knowledge and skills requirement, that proportion is changing, and therefore in that case there is a need of an overall the talent management practices. We will be talking about that is what are the current talent management practices which have been found successful. 25% strongly agree they have a robust method for identifying employees with a potential is there. For so many years it has been talked about the performance appraisal only, and focus was it is how to improve the performance. But later on it has been found out that is the when we are talking about the performance, we are not getting the maximum the knowledge, skill, ability of that particular worker or employee at the workplace. So what is required, that is the every employee is having the much more potential whatever the job he has been assigned to do. Now here when we are talking about that is he is required to identify the potential and develop this particular potential, then necessary we have to make those type of the appraisal systems, potential appraisal systems, and explore the identify the potential of the employees, so that it is not that they are stagnant to a particular job only, rather than they can be multi-skilled and multi-purpose their talent that can be used by the organization. Otherwise what was happening, that is they were having certain particular skill, but for the even if the end worker or employee has worked for the 30 years, 40 years, and that particular skill that has not been utilized, and therefore in that case this is the 25% companies of the strongly agree. The 4% of the HR professionals, this is the research finding of a particular study that I will refer you later on to the source of this particular study. 4% of the HR professionals believe HR is viewed as a strategic business partner in their organizations, only 4%. And therefore the HR, the department, HR section, role of HR, that is slowly and slowly getting the recognition. But earlier it was more focus on only the production process was there. A whopping 82% of the Fortune 500 executives don't believe that their companies recruit highly talented people. Now you see 82% of the Fortune 500 executives, means that talent acquisition is becoming a very crucial area. They don't think that is the our organizations is recruiting the best applicants, those who are talented and they have been selected by our organization. So percentage of the Fortune 500 executives who agree their organizations, 18% they recruit highly talented people, only 18%. 14% know who are high and low performers are there. 7% retain the high performers, and the 3% develop the people quickly and effectively, and the 3% quickly remove the low performers are there. So you can see that is the how low the percentage is there. So we have to understand the talent management model. When we are talking about the talent management model, there is no generic or standardized model of talent acquisition, but several HR professionals have developed multiple talent acquisition model. A typical model should always consider these factors, and this is the most found out the practical model which has been absorbed by the organizations. Here it is a in optimal workforce, it is the and they here understand the business strategy. Now, what is happening is everybody is working in the isolation. They are not well connected with the business strategy of the organization. So, every department, every section, they are like HR strategy. So, HR working on HR strategy, production is working on production strategies. But there is a need to understand the business strategy. What is our business strategy is there, and then the measurements or evaluation, that is the how we can do that particular this talent optimization that can be done. Similarly, the workforce plan, that is we have to plan about like the HR planning we are doing. So therefore that workforce planning that is required to be done. So this is the planning stage is there. Second is that attracting. So marketing, that is organization, employer branding. I have talked about this particular concept, that is the employee talent. Talent apply to which organizations, right? So that is they are having a particular perception about the organization, about the work culture especially, right? Where the freedom, flexibility, their potential that will be explored, they will learn more and they will develop themselves and they will grow. So therefore, in that case, it is employer branding is very much required, where the organization can showcase, that is if the talent join us, then they are having the multiple scope of the growth, they are having the opportunities to learn and develop themselves. So that is our culture practice is there. So employee value propositions is there, that is the what I will contribute to the organization. And talent acquisition practices, the fair talent acquisition practices are required, and whenever there are the fair talent acquisition practices, you will find you are able to do the achieve the targets, connect your business strategy with the HR strategy, and then you are able to find out that is who are the CEO potentials are there. Then attracting, they take the help of these freelancers and the consultants are there. Now, naturally, when you cannot make the access to all, and in the market there are already certain talented employees, those who are known in that nature of industry, and there we can call them and make them, that is this is they can contacted through these freelancers and the consultants are there. Now after that attraction and acquisition, there will be the developing of the manpower is there, and that manpower development, talent development, that is onboarding. Now it is very important. Many times the talent is acquired or they are recruited for the purpose of the one department, and when they are on board, they are placed into the another department. This type of difference that will not create the talent to attract towards talent attraction, nor it will create the talent performance. So therefore in that case, this performance appraisals management system, and after the boarding, that should be very much clear and that should be known in much advance. I would like to give my example. In 2003, when I joined as assistant professor in IIT Roorkee, so as per the tradition, my head of the department, he took me to the Professor Premvrat, and who was the director of IIT Roorkee. And within the first 10 to 15 minutes of our interaction, and after the within half an hour of joining my IIT Roorkee, he asked the HOD, that is, please show him our performance appraisal form. So when at the end of the year, when they in 2003 I am talking about, when at the end of the year, when appraisal will be done, he will be aware on what parameters he was supposed to be evaluated. So therefore, in that case, that performance appraisal system, that is required to be very strong. Learning and development opportunities are there. With the period of time, whatever level you join, right, you might be having the best training, best learning, but after 3 years, if I am not wrong, because earlier it was 5 years, but after now, after every 3 years, there is a drastic change is there. Change is there in the very short period also, but the drastic change comes after the 3 years in your knowledge level, learning and development level. So therefore, in that case, that opportunity is required. If you are not able to develop and refresh your knowledge after every 3 years, then in that case you will be left much behind. And if you are left much behind, then your talent will not be talented, it will be an ordinary manpower. Career pathways, the career goals are required for the talent management. It is becoming very, very important. That is, you show them the roadmap for the growth. So they have that growth and opportunities, and when they are having this type of the career pathways, they understand that is if they will perform better, they will grow much faster and at the very higher positions. Then the capability frameworks are there. Every individual is having certain capability. It should be evaluated, it should be examined, and it should be noted, so that the organization, those who are highly capable, the organization can contact them and can use their capability. And when those who are the underperformers or the under capability career capabilities are there, then in that case they should be developed and they should be asked to learn and develop themselves in the particular areas. Now, retaining of the talent. For the retaining of the talent, it is necessary that is a culture is there. You are having that particular culture and generation strategy is there, so that which attracts the talent is there. So organizational performance outcome and organizational strategy, that should match. So when we are talking about the planning, attracting, developing, retaining and transitioning of this particular model, then we can say there is a proper understanding of this talent acquisition, then proper the attracting of the right talent to the organization so that they apply, and then we are having them the comfortable journey in the organization with the onboarding, with the learning and development, developing them and capability framework, and this continuous remuneration strategy. Therefore, when they learn, they develop, the organization also give the recognition in the terms of the rewards are there. So therefore, the organization strategies and organizational performance outcomes that work. Now, in case of the recruiting, return on investment of talent management, ROI. So the US Department of the Labor estimates that the average cost of a bed hiring decision, you see, that is how much it is costing, is 30% of the individual's first year potential earning is there, right? When we are having the bed hirings, 80% of the employees turnover is there, because they are not is due to the bed time decisions which they have been hired. Then there are the 150% of the salary of the employee who needs to be replaced, and as a result of which bed hiring, that is causing you to again recruit the new persons. So the cost is increasing by the 150%, and if the person is not right, then the high level of highly specialized employees, that fixture jumps to 400%, right? So therefore, you find that is the, and here if you are having the bed hiring, then 80% of the employees, their turnover, 150% of the salary of the employees are there, and that figure jumps that is to the 40%, while the high level of the highly specialized employees you are hiring. The 69% of the employees reported that their companies have been adversely affected by bed hire. And here you find the with 41% of those business estimate the cost that to be over $25,000 million, and 24% reporting a bed hire cost them more than the $50,000 is there. So here we have to understand that is the how we can go for the onboarding and learning practices, so that we can have the good practices, so the cost is reduced. Otherwise, a study that has been the with the high impact increasing program, and the 3 times higher profit growth than their peers are there, and companies that invest dollar 1,500 on training per employees, right, and 24% higher gross profit is there, and 218% higher revenue per employee is generated. And to study the, it may be that is the plus 10%, there is an increase, plus 8.6% gain in productivity is there, and learning curves can cost from 1% to the 2.5%, while in the case of the increase in the profit by $2,400 per employee, that organizations can develop. So we have to understand what is the talent acquisition management relationship. So talent acquisition and management is a constant procedure of attracting and retaining the top quality employees, honing their skills and continuously motivating and pushing them to improve their productivity and efficiency. The purpose of talent management is to create a motivated workforce with a zeal to stay with your organization in future. The proper way to achieve this might differ across the organization. The talent management naturally encompasses many responsibilities of HR. But having an HR department does not account to be that is of the talent management. We need to have a talent management strategy explicitly designed and customized for the organization to achieve its goal. So it should not be left to the only HR department, but it is for the all. These talent management practices, they work on the 6 principles. The 6 principles design that is effective talent management and help organization results, develop and retain the workforce and needed to achieve strategic goals. These principles ensure talent management practices are integrated, systematic and responsive to both business needs and individual aspirations are there. So, these 6 principles are alignment with strategy, internal consistency, cultural embeddedness, management involvement, balance of the global and local needs and employee branding through the differentiation is there. We will take one by one. Alignment with the strategy. Organizers must ensure that the talent initiatives are directly support key business objectives. Therefore, that business strategy is becoming the prime objective, such as innovation, right? If we take the example of these pharmaceutical companies are there, right? Or we are talking about the IT industries based companies are there. So, continuous innovation is required. Then the growth or the operational excellence, and that these are the key business objectives are there. For example, if a company prioritizes customer experience, it will focus on recruiting and developing talent with the superior interpersonal and problem solving skills. Companies like Google align their development programs with their innovation goals, offering continuous learning to support technical and creative growth. Alignment with strategy. Under this principle, the core responsibility of the human resource leader is to judge, going by the strategy, what kind of talent do the organization require at any point of time. It is given that you need to place the right person at the right job, and that is basically the HR concept is there. However, you need to be flexible with your strategy, since there are many internal and external factors which can compel you to the change the way you plan. So, examples of companies that have done so include is GE and the Oracle has done. GE's HR practices are cultural simplifications. So, these involves restructuring the HR function into an HR partnership model, where HR is an enabler and coach, helping managers and employees adapt to shifting priorities and the new ways of working is there. The leadership development programs of the GE runs an extensive leadership development program, such as the Human Resource Leadership Program HRLPs, which include the multiple relations in different HR roles. Performance management company has shifted from the traditional performance management to a dynamic approach that is about the potential appraisal, integrity and ethical conduct, and GE places a strong emphasis on integrity and ethical conduct, ensuring that employees follow a strict code of conduct that align with the company's global operations. So, therefore, the culture simplification, leadership development, performance management and the integrity and ethical, that will be making them the more HR strategies will be linked with the business strategies. How the Oracle does, we will see. The talent management Oracle is known for its strategic talent management practices, which align closely with its overall business strategy. Employee development Oracle invests heavily in employee development through various training programs and initiatives to enhance the skill and career growth. And the flexible work arrangements are there. So, changing workforce dynamics, Oracle offers flexible work arrangements including the remote, the options and the flexible hours. Second is internal consistency. The principle requires that coherent talent management processes, performance management, succession planning. So, therefore, unless and until there is not a proper performance management course and planning, or the learning and development should all reinforces each other, and therefore, in that case adopt transform its approach by implementing a continuous feedback check-in system, ensuring appraisal and development are highly linked. Their managers are accountable for employees' growth, making internal process mutually supportive. If you want to be the successful, you have to be the consistent with your talent management strategy is there. So, going strong once and then taking things show would not be a great way of the talent retention, and the pay continuous attention to your talent pool. Talent management strategies does not work in isolation. So, consistently is crucial, and therefore this consistency, the emphasis placed on consistency at companies such as Bay System and IBM can help to illustrate why that is important is there. So, when we are talking about the HR practices of the diversity, equity and inclusion, that is the DEI, nowadays the BI system strongly focuses on DEI, offering programs designed to increase their competence and develop inclusive behaviors. Their Bridge Mentorship Program and the Brand Leadership Institutes are key initiatives aimed at facilitating cross-cultural learning and supporting women in leadership roles. Employee resource groups systems support 8 ERGs that foster cultural connections and professional growth through internal and external networking programs and activities. Inclusive benefits and the flexible work arrangements are there. The company provides the versatile medical coverage and mental health and support and flexible scheduling is options, including the remote work and the alternative schedules, which also for the every other Friday off is there. So therefore they are allow inclusive benefits, flexible work arrangements so that the talent can feel the freedom. The IBM's HR practices for the internal consistencies are employee development and the training is there. So IBM invests heavily in continuous learning and professional development and IBM employs robust talent management practices that includes the succession planning to ensure the leadership continuity. When we are talking about the role in the case of the diverse and inclusive initiatives, IBM is committed to fostering a diverse and inclusive workplace. The company has implemented various programs and policies to support the diversity in hiring, promotions and everyday work practices, ensuring that all employees have equal opportunities for the growth and the advancement is there. The third principle is that is a cultural embeddedness. So, talent initiatives should express the organization's values and work environment. From hiring to development, Unilever integrates diversity and inclusive to its culture. Using structured interviews and technology to eliminate the hiring biasness and support, a fair workshop is organized. Organizations also reinforces the cultural fit in onboarding training and the promotion routines are there. The culture embeddedness actually it expresses the organization's values and work environment of the talent initiatives. From hiring to development, Unilever integrates diversity and inclusive to its culture using structured interviews and technology to eliminate hiring and the bias and support a large social place. So, work organizations reinforce culture fit in onboarding, training and promotional routines are there. The culture embeddedness never has been there much pressure as organization to retain and maintain the culture and therefore that is not that is it should be inbuilt. It should not be focused or pressurized. A global management team designs in strategy and policies, aligning with the core culture of the organization. Nowadays, it is been taken into serious consideration to include your core values in the talent management processes are there. A new talent coming on board should be very clear about the organizational values and culture and needs to fit themselves to the same mold. The talent management team is always there to help the mobile data culture and therefore in that case here when you are imbibing that particular culture you will be able to come out to find out that is what are the practices and then adopt those practices and become the part of the culture. IKEA, the Sweden based furniture retailer for example, where applicants are selected using tools that focus on values and culture fit, another approach to promoting the organization's core values and behavior standards gained through the secondary training is there. This IKEA, the culture embeddedness comes to the value based recruitment is there. IKEA selects the applicants using tools that focuses on their values and culture fit. And this ensures that the new hires align with the company's core values and behavioral standards. By prioritizing their attributes, IKEA fosters a coverage and having the very cohesive and supportive work environment where employees share a common vision and work ethic. Secondary, that is a socialization and training. To promote the organization's core values and behavior standards, IKEA invests heavily in secondary socialization and the training. new employees undergo comprehensive onboarding program emphasizing the company's values such as sustainability, community involvement, and a balanced work-life approach. Employee empowerment and flexibilities are there. So, IKEA adopts a paternalistic approach and therefore, in that case, the employee needs promoting empowerment and flexibility. The company's HR policies are designed to be generous and supportive, although they strive for the greater flexibility to meet individual employee needs are there. And the inclusive work culture will be IKEA's work culture is characterized by the solid and family-like relationship among employees. The company promotes diversity and creativity, and the leadership emphasize caring for one another to a core value. And here we find that the nurturing environment helps reduce the employee turnover and fosters a sense of belonging and motivation among the staff. The fourth principle is the management involvement. Leadership at all levels must engage deeply in talent management, not just HR. So, Hyatt Hotels developed a talent philosophy and playbook, empowering managers with tools and resources to personal development. Managers participate in recruitment, mentoring, and performance discussion, ensuring employees have the consistent support. The successful companies know that the talent management process needs to have the broad ownership and not just by HR but by managers at all levels, including the CEO. Senior leaders need to be active involvement in the talent management process and make recruitment, succession planning, leadership and developments and retention of the key employees the top priorities. One of the most important and potent tools the companies that can be developed leaders is to involve the line managers. It means getting them to play a key role in the recruitment of talent and then making them the accountable for the developing the skills and knowledge of their employees. The research cites the example of Unilever to demonstrate how this can be done. Any talent would not be happy to know about their new reviews from HR, although that is equally important that the manager with whom a person is coordinating, providing the direct reviews, it has a completely different effect. So, involvement of the manager of different levels that can prove to be beneficial in designing a holistic and comprehensive talent management process is there. Management involvement in for example, Unilever, that is about the having the active involvement of the senior leaders. Unilever emphasizes the involvement of the senior leaders in the talent management process, and this includes the CEO and others top executives actively participating in recruitment development decisions. The improvement therefore that ensures that the strategic goals are aligned with the talent acquisition, and the readiness thereby is there fostering a holistic approach to business growth. Internal talent marketers, that is a flex experience is there, and Unilever has developed an AI powered internal talent marketplace called the Flex Experiences, and this platform democratizes career development opportunities by the matching employees with the projects and roles that align with their skills and aspirations are there. And this initiative not only enhances the employee agreement and the satisfaction, but also ensures that the company can rapidly mobilize talent to more changing business work. Focus on the people analytics are there. Unilever is having the leverages people analytics to ensure that the right talent is placed in the critical roles and they drive the value creation. By analyzing due to an employee contributions, it becomes important that is readiness and performance. Unilever can make informed decisions that the talent pleasure, it becomes the smart one, that is thereby optimizing both human and capital investments. Sustainable living plan under this Unilever integrates this talent strategy with the broader sustainability goals through the Unilever sustainable living plan. This plan emphasizes improving the health and well-being, and that is reducing the environment impact and enhancing the livelihood. By aligning talent management by these these goals, Unilever ensures that its business operations are both critically sound and commercially successful. The empowerment and flexibility by the Unilever under the management environment example is a culture of empowerment and the flexibility. By allowing employees to opt in for project, then the interest, that then providing opportunity for continuous learning, and the approach they helps company to adopt quickly a market change and maintain a conditional or competitive edge. The fifth principle is the balance of global and local needs are there. So, global organizations must harmonize standard processes while adapting to regional requirements and culture is there, and that is why we talk about that is a globally is there. So, IBM for example, they tell us the talent strategies for the different market while preserving the core company values such as diversity and technical excellence, and this ensures universal standards and local effectiveness. As we know, there is always a difference in culture between the two states and the countries to also for the matter. With global and local needs, with the multinational companies operating in the various countries and continents, it has been of the utmost importance to imbibe the culture accordingly. Now, organizations operating is multiple countries, culture and multi-institutional environments. Managers need to figure out how to respond to local demands while maintaining a coordinated HR strategy and management approaches are there. The research found different methods of doing this, giving examples of the Matsuda, Rolls-Royce, Shell and others. However, among all the companies they studied, there was no single strategy was there. When we are talking about the Rolls-Royce, so diverse and inclusive culture, Rolls-Royce focuses on the building a strong and inclusive corporate culture. TRI have implemented comprehensive diversity, equity and inclusion programs that foster a collaborative and supportive environment for employees from various backgrounds. This includes employee resources groups and leadership programs to enhance the cultural competence and leadership skill across the organization. So, global talent mobility, the company also emphasizes global talent mobility and in the allowing employees to move between the different regions and roles. So, when we talk about the global talent mobility, this is not only helps in the personal development of the employee, but it also ensures that the best practices and innovations are shared across the company. Another example of the Shell is integrated the HR strategies. So, Shell integrates the HR strategies with the broader business goals. This includes aligning HR functions with the financial planning and strategic investments. Here the ensuring that the right talent is in place to meet the business objectives. Shell's HR practices are also tailored to local conditions while maintaining a unified corporate culture emphasizing within that safety, integrity and excellence. The sustainability and community engagement. Shell's HR strategies are closely linked to its sustainability goals. This involves not only complying with the local regulations, but also engaging with the local committees to foster goodwill and sustainable practices. Shell's approach ensures that its operations are environmentally responsible and socially beneficial, and they are crucial for the maintaining a positive the corporate image and the long term viability is there with. Now, last principle in that is be different in talent management, there is a employee branding through differentiation. So, we have discussed the number of case studies, right, and then we have seen how the different principles have been adopted. But naturally, every organization to attract the talent, it requires the employer branding so that the talent is get accredited. How this they are getting the attracted, that we will see. A unique employer brand is critical for the attracting the top candidates and retaining high performance. Microsoft leverage its growth mindset brand and promoting the opportunities for employees to learn and grow across the organization. Now, when we are talking about the distinctive branding attracts candidates aligned with the organizational identity and values. Each principle is mutually reinforcing. When implemented together, they create a robust the system that maximizes the both organizational outcome and individual employee potentials are there. Now, to be the different from the others, the company should find ways to differentiate themselves from their competitors in order to attract employees with the right skills and attitudes are required. The company studied different considerably in how they resolve the tension between the maintaining the consistent brand identity across the business units and the region and that are responding to a local demand. One way companies are trying to get an edge on competitive in attracting talent is by stressing their corporate social responsibilities. Here the research given the example of is a GlaxoSmithKline is there. The best way for the talent retention is to give the answer to your employees as why are you better than your competitors. The organization should be ready with the answer to the question which might come the waking up being different in a provide the positive note only adds to the brownie point and help talent management team to attract the employees and retain them. So, emphasize on CSR, for example, GlaxoSmith, CSR and community engagement is there. Now, GSK here integrates CSR deeply into its corporate strategy. The company unites science, technology and talent while considering the social, environmental and governance impacts across the operations. Talent management program has developed a robust talent management that aligns with its CSR goals. So, GSK programs like the Future Leaders Program FLP are designed to attract and develop for the future leaders. These programs include multiple rotations across different business institutions and therefore they are ensuring the employees gain comprehensive over the experience and skills. The skill based volunteering and development opportunities are there. GSK offers various skill based voluntary opportunities and go make sure that is pro bono projects through the initiatives like the PSU, LSC, right, and then you will be having that particular pulse program and where you will find allows employees to take sabbatical and work with the non-profit enhancing their skills while contributing to the social causes. The employee engagement and retentions of GSK prioritize employee engagement by ensuring that their work is purposeful and impactful. The company's focus on CSR and sustainability that resonates with the employees leading together and bringing the high engagement and retention rates. Now, McKinsey Talent Management Report, it talks about that is a relationship between the talent management practices and overall effectiveness of the talent management program. Standardized regression certificate is there. So, movement of the talent among the strategic projects as priorities arise and there will be the dissolve is the fast or very fast. And here that is a 0.163. HR functions ensures positive employee experience across the employee cycle. 1.143. HR leaders have comprehensive understanding of organization strategy and the business business overall strategy. It is a 0.094. Organizations executives moderately are very involved in talent management. 0.093. HR functions, they are the quickly assembled team of HR experts from various parts of the function to deliver on business the priorities. It is a 0.088. And the company effectively identifies people with most relevant skills for a given project or job regardless of where they are in a company, and it is given the 0.4087. And the organizations uses data and analytics when making the talent decisions, that is a 0.071. HR business partners are considered and it is a 0.066, and the people close to the work have a role in making decisions that affect the day-to-day activities, that is a 0.059. Employees understand how their individual objectives support organizations strategic objectives, and that is a 0.056 is there. So, therefore, when we are talking about these talent management practices, we have to see what is the ROI on better talent management is there. Now, When we are talking about the overall or the ROI, and then performance management culture grew, that is net income by the 756%. So therefore, it is versus a 1% growth over the same period for those that in the that did not. So therefore, it is you will find that is the here we find achieves 8.9 department with the managers who receive the feedback on their strengths achieve 8.9% greater profitability, while in the case of the cross spend at least 40% of their time on business performance management, but they estimate that 30% of their company's performance is potential lost due to the ineffective performance management process that is just and behavior is there. So finally, we will come to the types of the talent management strategies. The building a talent management strategy is we must include the important component of talent. Management strategy before initiating recruitment hiring process, and these components are purpose of the talent management strategies, measure the results, assign the responsibilities and maintain the smooth communication. The first one, that is the purpose of the talent management strategy. We need to make sure the talent management strategy must align with the goals, vision and mission of the organization. We need to clearly specify how the employees needs to perform in order to meet the goals of the organization. When we are talking about the measures of the results, we need to meticulously assess whether our implemented strategy is working and define the proper the metrics and dimensions to measure the progress. Assign the responsibilities to ensure the talent management strategy must align with the goals, vision and mission of the organization. We need to clearly specify how the employees need to perform in order to meet the goals of the organization. Maintain the smooth communication. All employees must be clear about their functions in the organization. They should be allowed to work towards their career goals, and also opportunities should be provided for their overall growth while working for the organization is there. This is a case study by the Tata Consultancy Services. Talent management challenges at TCS is there. So it is India's biggest IT companies, among the leading information technology companies in the world. Workforce of over the 110,000 professionals, 110 millions, and operates in the more than the 50 countries, more than the 170 offices, offers across the world. 50 global delivery centers are there. Tata Group has a reputation for its people-centric attitude, that the intention to contribute back to the society. The challenges with this company is the retaining the managing talent, talent development and employee engagement commitment from the employees are there. So when we are talking about the 21st century workforce talent management challenge at TCSL, so emerging that the new markets, that is global presence, MNCs setting up operations in India, MNCs providing a beneficial ground on several aspects. He is empowered with the manpower, skill and knowledge, better pay, package, etc. China and other Asian countries joining the IIT that went back on, and the draw up an employee driven strategy for expanding in the maturing the markets of Europe and Asia Pacific. High performance should be handpicked to move to these geographies to lay a strong foundation in these maturing markets. These associates have to be briefed about the role that they will perform and have them consult on why they have been chosen for these particular roles are there. So these recruit local champions to assist these leaders in their respective roles and improve the knowledge sharing and the peer learning. They make the associates aware of the intangible benefits, and the company provides like the job security, brand values, on-site opportunities and so on. So the attitude and behavior of the work is there, where it is very confident at the same time they are too short sighted. So therefore developing the economic conditions and exponentially increasing the number of job opportunities across the globe, personal retention is hardly a challenge. So we may argue that the market is a good and they just want to make hay while the sun shines, but the fact is these people want to make all the hay in one day. So training program is to introduce the participants to the various initiatives of the organization and makes them feel that they are a part of the family right from day one. Put the associate through a lot of the learning programs. Job rotation plans for all associates is almost all level, barring a few senior level of positions to break the monotony of the job profile and energize people. help the associates understand that the organization is making the maximum care of their career development, hence they will want to stick on forever. The leadership development programs have been offered. A lot of efforts, time and money invested on leadership development initiatives, very little evidence that these initiatives are driving the expected results, and the difficulty in justifying the investments are there. This empowers the associate to nominate themselves as leaders and also select the stream in which they want to move ahead. Future leaders should be they handpicked or interviewed as the accessed that is followed by the all and extensive leadership, and therefore in that case they ensure that these are the quickly deployed into those roles for which they were chosen. So, develop some metric on number of employees trend against the number of employees dropped. So, retaining and managing the talent competition between the organization is to attract the new talent, getting more investment into talent development initiatives. Creating a career plan for every employee that enables him or her to continuously deploy his or her talent remains a bigger challenge is there. So, develop a system to manage the learning deployment, planning and required competencies. Incorporate various features like the gap analysis, role tagging, competency mapping, the learning plan creation and so on, giving the associates the liberty to choose from a huge volume of learning objects which are divided into the technical, process, domain and the soft skill subject areas. This well defined career path for every individual and the corresponding learning intervenes, and this system will also help TCS in the process of moving towards a role based organization. As long as employees are clearly shown the way he will move ahead, he will be happy enough to prepare himself to move them way and make all the necessary help required rather than the trying to branch off elsewhere also. So, therefore, in that case we can say that is the Tata management is working on the how to develop the talent, creating an innovative culture within the organization, creating an environment to share ideas, motivating people to innovate, empowering associates feel more responsibilities and the wider job scope is there, invest a lot in the R&D initiatives, talent management monitoring through individual learning plans and personalized career development plans are there, and they organize the training programs to make the associates aware about the prevailing business environment in these markets. These adopt practices to recognize and reward the innovations are there. Then they are also involved in talent management, the employee engagement and commitment from employees. Employee engagement activities just remain as the entertainment activities and they do not add any value to the expected outcome. Be loyal to your job, but never be loyal to your organization is a definition for loyalty and not a days among the youth professionals. These expecting the commitment from employees without giving a commitment to them in the fundamental reason leading to all dissatisfaction. So, different tangibles offered by the companies for individual be a different in a have a salary package or variety of roles. They are getting informed across the globe. Hence, you will find the unique differentiation for the companies has to be keep that employees engagement activities, involve the associates and then make them organize the event by themselves, rejuvenating the employee with loads of the fun activities and include the family in such events. Family events will be organized. So, I will conclude by the benchmarking practices at TCS, initial learning program, and that is engineering and management graduates, non-engineering graduates, then the continuous L&D to build the domain and technical competencies, global expansion of the training infrastructure is there, performance driven culture and then the linking the performance with the viable rewards, employee engagement program, awareness to meet the career aspirations, increase the touch points are there, and on basis of this we find out that is the talent management practices that has become the exercise by the different organizations, and with the above those case studies we find out that is we can understand that what are the different practices are there. But here one thing I would like to mention that it will be having the understanding of your own organization's culture also. When you are having the understanding of your culture, then definitely the talent management they will be having this perception about that they want to continue in the organization, and this will create the role satisfaction and psychological empowerment, and that will be giving you an opportunity accountability for the managing the talent. We will talk about role satisfaction and psychological empowerment as determinants of talent management. What is the role satisfaction? So they are different persons, they are playing the different roles. Now one role is as an employee when we are working into the organization. Other role is that is about the you are the son or daughter, so there is a second role is there. Third role is that is about the friend. The fourth role is like a brother and siblings. So like there are the different roles are there. In personality also, I have talked about the role conflict and role ambiguity is there. Role conflict means you are having the different roles and there is a conflict between the different roles. For example, role of an employee and role of a son. So you have to be present at the work also, and there is a urgent requirement at your home also, and that is called the work life balance. So there is a role conflict is there. And then we have to resolve the role conflict. Similarly, when we are talking about this role satisfaction, so here is that is the what is the motive or needs are there. Everything is to be the purpose. Every act requires certain purpose, and when you are fulfilling that particular purpose, then that becomes the your satisfaction of need is there. So motive is defined as the precursors to motivation, which may be defined as a propensity to behave in a particular manner, right? And therefore a role is there, and role will require, suppose you are leader's position, leader's role, then definitely that will require a particular type of behavior. So Merton 1957 described role as a set of task related behaviors required of a person by his or her position in an organization. And the Ilgan and the Hollenbeck, they defined the work role as an organized collection of behavior expectations are there. And Professor Parikh and Purohit, they defined it as the degree of satisfaction of the psychological needs or motives in one's role in an organization is there. So here when we are talking about that particular role satisfaction, it is the degree of satisfaction of psychological needs. And so when you are into the leader's role, what is your psychological need? Your need, psychological need is to create a vision and achieving that particular vision, and that will give you the satisfaction. Similarly, as a leader, you have to get work done by your team members and they are doing your work, and therefore you are having that psychological satisfaction is there. So in the organization, when we are playing a particular role in the capacity of employee, and then there are the certain psychological needs, and when we are getting that satisfaction of psychological needs, that will be the role satisfaction. Role satisfaction has been identified as the gap between perceived and desired satisfaction of the main psychological needs in one's organizational role. So role satisfaction is always, as a leader, as an employee, you are having certain perception, right? And then there are the certain expectation with that particular role, that is a desired satisfaction. And when both are matching, your perceptions are matching, and then the whatever the desired role is there, that you are getting the fulfillment, and then that will be the psychological needs, the one organization's role, that will be giving you the role satisfaction. And the role later, job satisfaction was explained as a cognitive and or affective evaluation of one's job is more or less positive or negative. So here it is becoming very important, that is the whenever we are talking about the job satisfaction, then this role satisfaction and job satisfaction, when we compare, we find that how content an employee is with the specific duties, responsibilities and functions associated with their position within an organization. It emphasizes the alignment between an individual's skill, expectations and the task they perform regularly. And when employees are satisfied with their role, they are more likely to feel motivated and contribute positively to team goals are there. So when there are the every role is having the certain authorities and responsibilities, and when we are fulfilling those authorities and responsibilities successfully, and with the while fulfillment of these authorities and delivery of these responsibilities, we are using our skills and abilities, and then at the end of the that performance, right, and we are achieving that goal, and that gives us the satisfaction is there. Whereas Job satisfaction, on the other hand, is a broader concept that encompasses an employee's overall emotional and psychological fulfillment with their work experience is there. So, including the factors like compensation, organizational culture, relationship with co-workers and supervisors, and opportunities for growth. The job satisfaction integrates satisfaction with the role, but also accounts for elements such as work life balance, recognition, pay, and organizational support is there. So, it is giving us the more and more perception where we are talking about, that is how we can go for this contribution towards the making the co-workers and supervisors and opportunities for growth. All the satisfactions will be there. Then role satisfaction has been talked about in a number of ways. That is, the measures the role satisfaction by using four dimensions, namely work as an experience, work as it relates to the career plans, and work as it relates to the individual's general needs and situation. And the last one, the fourth one is, that is work as it affects the rest of the life is there. While role satisfaction have been further classified under five motives, namely achievement, influence, control, affiliation, and extension is there. Now, when we are talking about the psychological empowerment, that is a motivation, in the view of the Luthans, it is motivation is defined as a process that starts with a psychological and the physiological deficiency or need that activates a behavior or a drive that is aimed a goal or the incentive is there. So, when we are putting these needs into the drives and drives into the incentives, so these intrinsic and extrinsic motivation is there. So, intrinsic motivation is present within a person and leads to a motivation when there is an internal force to get motivated. That is Deci and Rion 2000. Extrinsic motivation occurs as a result of need to achieve certain results that has nothing to do with the work and is a short term which would be out once the outcome is reached. So, therefore, in that case here in extrinsic motivation is that with the very short term is there, while the intrinsic motivation that gives you the satisfaction. When we are talking about the empowerment, so empowerment is a process of enhancing feelings of the self efficacy among organizational members through the determinations of the conditions that foster powerlessness and through their removal by organizational adjustments are there. So, Nelson and Egberg put forward the definition of empowerment as the delegation of power and responsibility from the higher levels in the organizational hierarchy to lower level employees, especially the power to make decisions are there. Now, this empowerment, right, and that is the power and responsibility from the higher level in the organization to the lower level of organization is, that is the to make a decisions, and that is the you are making them empowered, right. And here when psychological empowerment we talk about, it is as Spitzer described psychological empowerment as an increased intrinsic task motivation manifested as a set of four thoughts which reflect an active rather than passive orientation to a work role, where the active orientation is manifest in individual's desires and feelings that a person is able to influence his or her work role and context. So, many refer to psychological empowerment as a cognitive state characterized by a sense of pursued control, pursued competence, and the goal internalization is there. Psychological empowerment and the structural empowerment, when we talk about, then it is according to the Spitzer, it is the increase the intrinsic motivation manifested in four cognitions, meaning competence, self-determination, and impact is there, and that reflect an individual's orientation to his or her work role. So, structured empowerment is defined as the initiation of empowerment by the top management and focusing on the delegation of authority and responsibility down the hierarchy is there. So, therefore, in that case, when we are talking about the empowerment in the organization structure wise, then here a top management they are getting the delegation of authority and responsibility to the down the level and to in the hierarchy. So, dimensions of psychological empowerment they discover the impact, competence, meaningfulness, and choice as a constitute. So, while the Spitzer listed that is the meaning, competence, self determination, and impact is there. However, Later on, in 2001, the Menon recognized the perceived control, perceived competence and goal internalization as dimensions are there. So, when we are talking about existing the empirical research on psychological environment, so there different studies are there. For I will like to take certain examples and then you can refer the rest of the studies. Here we will find that is the when the Spritzer the 393 middle managers that sample size was taken and from the 1550 fortune firms, and the criteria variable was role ambiguity, span of control, so socio-political support, access to information, access to resources and participative and climate is there. While when we are talking about the Siebel et al., 375 employees, they found the Fortune 100 manufacturing firms in US, and here it was a mediating variable and between the empowerment climate and individual performance, and the job satisfaction was there of the psychological empowerment is there. Then if there further research was done and the studies we are talking about, like for example Zha and Nair, they have worked with the 319 employees from the 9 5-star hotels in India, and criteria variable for the internal locus of control, job characteristics and superior subordinate relationship. So, when we are talking about these psychological empowerment, then we find it is different authors, they have come out with the different variables and they talk about the structural empowerment and organizational effectiveness is there. Now, how this role satisfaction and psychological empowerment, they are related with the talent management. As we already know that is a talent is described as an individual who has the capability to make a significant difference to the current and future performance of the company. So, in the 2007, Goffey and Jones they defined as a handful of employees' ideas, knowledge and skills which give them the potential to produce the disproportionate value from the resource they have available from them. Talent management in the here is the systematic attraction according to the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. It is a identification, development, engagement, retention and development of those individuals who are of the particular value to an organization, either in view of their high potential for the future or because they are fulfilling the business operations critical roles. So, this Lizard and Dowell explained TM as an integral set of the processes, programs and cultural norms in an organization designed and implemented to attract, develop, deploy and retain talent to achieve strategic objectives and meet their future business needs. So, talent management components of the present study, here we find that is the creativity is there, team building, entrepreneurship, leadership, learning abilities and the inspirational capabilities are there. So, when Zurich and Wilson did a study on naval reservists of the whose the role satisfaction was measured by already knowing their satisfaction at naval role at the civilian occupational role and how they react on a new situation. So, Krishnavani and Ramkumar considered the role satisfaction as a criteria variable predicted by HRD climate which ultimately influences the individual performance and the organizational effectiveness. The Thousand and the Supreme has assessed the role of the role satisfaction as a moderator between attitude toward stated core values, role model behavior and the core value behavior. When we are talking about the role satisfaction and talent management, achievement in the talent management, then it is the Wahlech and others indicated that individuals that is high on achievement motive are considered to enhance innovation in their organizations. What is the high on achievement? So, there is a need for power, need for affiliation and need for achievement. So, these three things are there for that motivates an employee. So, therefore, when we are talking about that is the the theory of motivation, and then we find that is the those who are having the need for achievement in their life very high, and that is making them motivated and enhance the innovation in their organizations. In contrast, individuals who are very high on the achievement need and more important for the growth of the organization were not found to make the extreme creative modifications for their firm. So therefore, here it has been the another study which is contrast. The people high on achievement motives were reported to have interest in their personal work and not interested in pursuing the other work too well as well as in the team is there, and therefore in that case that is becoming the achievement and the talent management is there. So sometimes it has been observed that is their motive, those who are having the high on achievement, they are working with the team and achieve the goal. Those who are high on achievement, but their motivation is self, and then in that case they are not able to work in the team. The influence and talent management, when we talk about, there is a need for autonomy that leads to innovation, freedom and the liberty to act, which builds the entrepreneurial behavior that help in increasing the organizational effectiveness. Researchers show that individuals who take in the self leadership, that is empowering leadership, and then in when they have an elevated need for independence and autonomy, or else they are pleased with control setting, and when they have the low need for autonomy and independence. In addition, this need was reputed to relate positively with the managerial motivation. The control and talent management O'Reilly et al. Cited that one of the individual needs, that is the need for power, was found to be the significantly related to the creativity. Researchers and the scholars found a connection between power motive and entrepreneurial. In charismatic leadership researches, initially it was observed that the power motive is somewhat that is low, but on the other hand it was asserted that there exists an affirmative association between power motive and charismatic leadership is there. The affiliation and talent management, which is having that discussed, that affiliation need or the motive have a positive impact on the employee's creativity. So it was demonstrated that the reason behind the success of entrepreneurs in Japan was their affiliation motive was there. So therefore, as I mentioned, need for power, need for affiliation and need for control. And here we find that is the all these the talented people, right, they are having such, some of them they are having the need for power, they are having the, some of them they are having the need for achievement, and they are having the need for the affiliation. So therefore power or control, you can say. So a study highlighted that cadets with the high affiliation motive desire to have a leader who personally care for their colleagues and makes the societal relations possible amongst the cadets are there. So when we are talking about the extension and the talent management, so extension motive is concerned with the working in teams and help others in society at large in a common task. Employees identify themselves low on this motive when above mentioned situations are missing, and when these social powers are missing, individuals experience low extension need. And entrepreneurs, those who are having a behavior that forces them to stay away from the groups or teams, and they prefer working single-handedly. So this psychological empowerment and creativity, when individuals believe that they are empowered to take the decisions and also they have to risk associated with the project they are involved in, they will generate such creative ideas that would not only improve the effectiveness of the department but also of the organization as a whole. So therefore this talent management, that is becoming this psychological and empowerment as a part of the creativity, and the talented people, those who are having the high creativity, then in public sectors are explored that empowerment on the whole helped a promoting employees towards the creativity. When the talent is the psychological empowered, they are turning out to be a critical factor for both individual and teams, since more and more from the considered team based formals to is more reliable. So Cohen et al. Asserted that in order to develop efficient terms in the firm that manages their work on their own, it is required by managers to give the employees empowerment with the first priority. The firm that wants to enhance their performance should develop the teams that are empowered. And here you will find that is by making these efforts and that psychological empowerment and entrepreneurship with making the higher privilege for the many successful entrepreneurs. However, in various studies, when unprivileged groups are the considered, and then the scholars and researchers believe that empowerment is of the most significant and it persuades individual to figure out their own innovative energy and initiatives, and therefore those who are the creative talent are there, and they are becoming the more enterprising when you are giving them the psychological empowerment. And psychological empowerment helps in intrinsically motivation and individuals to exhibit entrepreneur behavior. And when psychological empowerment is high, then the leaders characteristics, they are in line with the dimensions of empowerment, which helps in the inspiring the subordinates. Leaders should have their clear sense of their own value systems, and they must show a sense of self confidence or the competence. Leaders must be willing to exert the influence on that particular psychological empowerment. When we are talking about the talent, when they are psychological empowered, what is their learning ability? So Bandura stated that high employee empowerment results in better organizational commitment, and it was also observed that the psychological empowerment leads to enhanced learning culture, and empowered improves to the individual's learning ability as the job is they can easily confront difficult situations. So therefore it is important that is those who are our talented employees, we have to make them the psychological empowered, because when we are making them psychological empowered, then their learning ability and that is becoming very strong. The psychological empower also making highly inspiring the capabilities and motivate the employees attribute to the long lasting success of most of the organizations. It has been observed that the self-determination, one of the dimension of psychological empowerment, that significantly predict the intrinsic motivation, and meaningfulness was reported to relate positively with intrinsic task motivation is there. So when we are talking about the psychological empowerment, then the psychological empowerment as a criteria variable and psychological as a mediating variable is there, right? And psychological empowerment as a predictor variable is there, and therefore major trends in psychological empowerment is this, that is the criteria variable. So in the case of the criteria variable, and when we relationship we take it with the talent management, and then we see that is highly the psychological empowered employees, the better is the talent management is there. So talent requires psychological empowerment is there. If we cannot assign the psychological empowerment, as we understood psychological empowerment means that is the giving the power by the higher authorities to the subordinates, that is a delegation of the authorities are there. Then it plays a mediating variable is there. So talents, if I draw like this, that is the talent management and the psychological empowerment, and that will be effect on the managerial effectiveness, I will find it is very high. So here we have to understand that is whenever we are talking about this particular aspect of psychological empowerment, then we have to take care of that we should empower. Psychological empowerment is to be given to the delegation or to be assigned to the talented employees. Now we will take the another dimension, workforce management initiatives. So workforce management initiatives in HR refers to a strategic approach and set of processes aimed at optimizing the productivity, efficiency and engagement of a company's workforce. So it involves planning, scheduling, tracking time and attendance, managing absence, ensuring compliance with the labor laws, and aligning the right people with the right tasks to meet the organizational goals effectively. Workforce management initiatives typically include automating and streamlining the tasks such as the shift scheduling, payroll integration, performance tracking and employee self-service, all aimed at creating a cost-effective and motivated workforce. So what is the workforce management initiatives? So it's basically an approach to the capital management which would make the company a global integrated enterprise whose operations cut across wide geographical areas and which placed various value creation processes as a worldwide arena, and that optimize their productivity and efficiency is there. So therefore workforce management initiative is always giving you the higher edge. It is developed by Randy McDonald in the 2003, and used by more than the 80% of IBMers as a natural way for individuals to track and plan their development and performance is there, because that is giving you an integrated structure, right, where the various values creation processes that you can learn. Managers use it to estimate the talent requirements and the availability is there. So, it is used by IBM's strategic planners to gather data from the living market to estimate future opportunities and challenges, and therefore workforce management initiatives to the capital management, it will be becoming the global integrated enterprise. The workforce management initiative, that process needed to be simple, intuitive, easily learned, and the organizational model had to be the integrated in a way that enabled the such implementation. So, what is the WMI? The workforce management initiative that added value by integrating the supply chain of resources and talent management through four key components: resource management, talent and mobility, learning, supplier or the vendor management is there. So, this WMI and taxonomy saved IBM both time and money. So, as a result, the company could focus on expansion and meeting global customer satisfaction. The WMI and taxonomy made IBM unique from its competition by giving the company the ability to optimize the workforce management through a series of strategies, policies and processes, all revolving around the learning what client demands were. So, in this new system, HR was able to connect the WMI with the employment life cycle process through a series of engagement and transformations. Moreover, HR became an end-to-end globally integrated support solution for the business to strategically align in the human and capital worldwide. Now, when IBM is using this WMI for the talent acquisition, they shift from the traditional multinational approach to the global integration is there. So, optimizing the use of the current workforce and reduces the excess overhead is there. So, this workforce management initiative, and that is having the continuously adopting the supply system is there, and naturally the talent acquisition that becomes a part, because whatever the workforce management initiatives or talent management initiatives are taken, then definitely in that case they have to adopt that supply system very fast, and this is a tool to enable the optimal labor development. Now, in talent management we see that is one is a talent acquisition, other is a talent development. And when we are talking about that labor development or the talent development, right, then the talent rewards are there. So, it is becoming the tool to making the labor development very fast. In integration of the different talent areas are there. So, here it is important that is the we are making this integration of the talent areas. So, first is we are adopting the supply system, then enabling them to the labor development, and then the different talent areas are there. Now, connecting these workforce management initiatives to the employment life cycle process is there. So, basically implementing the WMI system that require creating or incorporating specific technologies into every stage of the employment life cycle from planning through deployment. So, here it is a strategy, and then that is giving you the workforce education, and there is a demand and the supply is there. And when we are talking about this demand and supply, it is making this plan, and this platform which is giving you the capacity planning, and this acquire and transition is there. So, therefore, here you will find that is the technologies and here the contractors, they are working into the such integration process. So, they are able to develop, and these technologies which are the skill gap closer is there, skill mapping is there, moving to learning at IBM Learners and IBM Explorer is there. Now, when technologies professional marketplace, that is the CV wizard experience and assessment, and that profile is there. So, technologies that is manage the portal and workforce dashboard. So, SPO is for the employees your career portal, and WMI that giving the integrated with the workforce dashboard for the managers are there. So therefore here incorporating the specific technologies into every stage of the employment life cycle, strategy, demand, plan, acquire and transition, develop and then the deploy and the employee programs are there. Now when we are talking about the global integrated support functions, and the goal of the WMI was not to just simply expand the IBM's footstep in other regions and countries. Instead, the new model would be a vital system integrating the all functions throughout the organization to support one another, and also known as the globally integrated support system. Now here with this new cross functional alliance, IBM was able to add value creation to customers and their organizations goals by delivering services at the highest levels. A central tenet of IBM's view of the evolution of the world market was that in order to support a truly globally integrated enterprise, the underlying functions that supported the enterprise such as the sales, marketing, IT and HR needed to devolve to the global integrated support, and this meant is the here the approach itself as a need to and globally integrated solution. So there is a customer fulfillment, procurement and global logistics are there. Now when we are talking about this customer fulfillment with this the global support functions consolidated, re-engineer, eliminate and automate, therefore it is giving you there the talented human resources are there which are giving the new HR organization structure. So HR leaders served as the business unit HR leaders who work directly with the business. I have talked in the earlier session, that is the your business strategies, they are supposed to be the link with the HR strategies, and therefore in that case when we talk about the business unit HR leaders who work directly with the business regions or countries to support their particular strategies, and the HR needs are there. Some served in centers of expertise and provided specific expertise and consulting in areas such as compensation, benefits, staffing, development and the labor relations are there. Still others served in the HR operations, maintaining and enhancing the supporting infrastructure of the function including information technology, communication, legal compliance and the data analysis and reporting. HR processes such as learning, recruitment and compensation were played when they were most effective. The leaders of the each functional area of HR were dual-headed, meaning that they lead not only a significant HR functional area such as compensation or recruitment, but at the same time they supported a large IBM business areas as the HR business partners. So IBM's HR organizations before after that redesigned to reflect the globally integrated enterprise, and these are the from this chart you will be able to understand that is the how that the global business integrated system that is giving you structure where you can plan integrated HR service system so that the talent can be managed accordingly. Now dual headed global processes and business partnerships, an implication of the dual halting model with the global integrated enterprise was that would be a much stronger connection between the day-to-day talent planning at the business level and the operations that were supported centrally. The challenge became how to develop and motivate HR to have an eye on both the central and the business specific elements of performance. So, the GI model and the WMI requires something different, and this organizational model changes require integration between the line HR and the staff HR initiatives and day-to-day activities are there. The dual heading of the top HR leaders had the effect of keeping the global processes as simple as possible. It is easy for such processes to grow in elegance and complexity when the person responsible for them is slowly focused on enhancing them and constantly adding the latest innovation. When the person globally process, he is responsibility for supporting a unit with the thousands of employees, and the amount of available time that becomes very limited. And this sets as a natural priority so that the only most of the vital and impactful innovations are made to the process and the process itself that is simplified. So, what are the success and challenges on the horizon? The successful evolution of IBM to GIE and the development of the WMI to support it through talent was justifiably regarded as a financial and organizational success. IBM could point to its own evolution to as an example of the kind of transformation and services could that can be the engender in its customers. IBM's talent management system was fast growing, a uniform yet constantly adopting the tool not only with the HR function but throughout the organization. The underlying logic of the taxonomy was not only the enhancing the utilization rates and responsiveness, but also supporting a stronger decision science for talent management by seamlessly integrating demand, supply and development. So, the increased clarity between the demand signals in the business and the response of the talent system allowed greater speed and the clarity is there. When we are talking about this talent acquisition and attracting the talent, the another example at the FedEx, and it is a service based industry, the success of the company depends on the ability and performance of employees. So, till now FedEx had managed to retain their employees and managed to maintain a very large talent pool successfully. However, due to increased competitions, globalization and increased knowledge of employees, the company have to formulate efficient HR practices for managing their talent and to meet the new challenges are there. The best HR practices adopted by a company like FedEx regarding managing their talent, that we will see, that is hire the right kind of the people. Now, what is the right kind of the people? When we are talking about the right kind of people, that is a matching with the job description and job specification, and therefore you have to make the job analysis. Job analysis means you analyze the job, you identify that is what operations or the functions are to be performed at the job is there. Now, you have to find out what will be the job description. So, you have to describe the job. So, whatever the operations are done at the workplace and those operations that will be shown in that job description, that is this type of the job is required to be performed is there. For performing this job, there will be certain job specification, minimum qualification is required to do that particular job. Sometimes it is any particular qualification is required, sometimes it is the unskilled semi skilled work is there. So, accordingly it will be defined. So, therefore, job analysis, then there will be the job description and then job specifications, and then there will be the job satisfaction. So, therefore, in this case to get the job satisfaction, it is important that is you understand job description and you have that particular job specification. So, right kind of the people will be those who are having that matching the skills job specification with the job descriptions. So, here the best practice says the FedEx is having the right kind of people, keep the promises, provide the good working environment is there. I always talk about that is the talent. Talent works with the enabling environment. Enabling environment or the working environment means that is that support. Like simple example, psychological empowerment which we have seen. So, that is also a work environment parameter is there. When we are talking about the job satisfaction is there, and that is also the outcome of the working environment is there. So, therefore, we have to keep this type of the environment, working environment, so that our talent is satisfied. Recognition of the merit is there, promotions and incentives. If you will just saying that is the person is talented, but he is not given any promotion or the incentives, then talent will not continue for a long period of time. So, talent requires time to time certain motivation, and that motivation is about the promotions and incentives are there. Now, talent always look for the continuous learning opportunities, and therefore, in that case it is the talent the FedEx provides that continuous learning opportunities, and therefore, you will be able to retain the talent is there, and always therefore shielding from the high work pressure, no stress, and optimal stress, that we understand optimal stress is required, but not that too much stress is required, otherwise the talent will not be able to perform. But it is also there should not be the low stress, rather than there should be optimal stress, and therefore the FedEx it works on the talent management and the right kind of people, then the right promises are there, which the whatever the promises for their rewards, incentives, opportunities are simply about the nature of jobs and performing the jobs. If this type of the promises are there, and then are have been to be executed, and that is the FedEx is doing. I will not go through this particular discussion, you can go through this slide, and we will be having this discussion of this particular slide in our live session, the logistics of the talent management. And please be ready at the time of when the live session will be there on this particular talent management. You please be prepared with this particular case study and answers with the questions we will be discussing. So, therefore, people first philosophy that the FedEx managers, they have the talent pool. When people are placed first, they will provide the highest possible service and the profits will follow, and the leadership style, and that will be the servant servant leadership style will be there. So, the FedEx managers, they are having the survey feedback action, they are having the job changer, applicant tracking systems, and leadership evaluation and awareness programs are there. Now, when they are having recognition and reward system, it is called well done golden falcon award, and the award consists of 10 shares of their Federal Express stock and a visit or the phone call from a senior executive will be there. They will have the open program through which an employee can question or put forward a complaint about matters of the corporate policy such as benefits, hiring, seniority, vacations, etc. And this guaranteed fair treatment procedure is there. An employee that appeal process by having an issue or complaint is there. So, over the years, FedEx developed several innovative HR programs that served as a benchmark for many organizations, particularly in the service industry. And these programs not only yielded financial benefits for the FedEx through improved employee productivity, but by the enhanced the regulation of the company as an employee friendly and the service oriented organizations. FedEx employees friendly policies resulted in very low attrition rate. In 2007, the attrition rate was estimated to be below 6%, while the industry average was, that is 20% was there. This is another discussion, talent management challenges at TCS. Please go through this and get prepared for the discussion time when we will having the after these recordings. There will be the certain part of discussion live sessions, and during live session please come prepare with this particular case study is there. So, this is all about the talent management and their practices that we will be taking care at the time of the discussions which we will be having in the line session. Thank you.